Hey, Gocha here with a guide on Laevatain, our very first limited 6-star unit and my favorite operator. She is an absolute powerhouse main DPS that can work with a very accessible team and pump out amazing AoE and single target damage. Today I'll go through her kit and how it all works as the game is very newly released, then we'll check out her best builds and weapons that I've calculated for you guys, and finish with synergies, gameplay combos, and teams that you can start making immediately. Like and sub for more Arknights Endfield guides, share to anyone that might need help, and let's begin. Laevatain is a 6-star limited heat striker operator and one of the strongest DPS we have as of Enfield's very first version. Her main scaling stats are intellect and then strength, and her ultimate has a very high energy cost of 300, but she of course has ways around it. When leveling up her abilities, her ultimate takes priority, followed closely behind by her battle skill, and then basics and combo skill is last. But if you plan on running a reaction team that maximizes her combos, feel free to level it up alongside the rest. But now onto her kit. Laevatain's abilities revolve around getting to her ultimate, and to do so we want to unleash massive enhanced battle skills, and to do that, well, let's see how. Her base battle skill summons a short burst of magma for a small duration, and hitting an enemy grants Laevatain 1 stack of melting flame. Now, if she has 4 stacks of Melting Flame, then she will consume all of them and perform an additional attack when casting this battle skill. And this additional attack is insane. It is over 5 times the multiplier of the base skill's explosion. But not only that, it also forcibly applies combustion for 5 seconds and also generates a disgusting amount of additional ultimate energy for Laevatain. And why is combustion important? Well, it is just more free damage, but also her combo skill will trigger when an enemy suffers from combustion or corrosion. When unleashing this attack, she will erupt fire from beneath any nearby enemies with combustion or corrosion, and if it hits an enemy, you'll get yet another stack of that melting flame for her battle skill. This only happens once though, no matter the amount of enemies you hit. You also finally get ultimate energy, and this time scaling with the enemies hit up to 3 enemies. So the battle skill gives us 1 melting flame, but it's a waste of skill points. We only want to use it at 4 melting flame stacks. Our combo gives us an accessible source of melting flame on a short cooldown as well. But the final and most common means of getting these stacks is through her Scorching Heart talent. When the controlled operator's final strike or finisher hits the enemy, and this can be her own, Laevatain will absorb heat infliction from nearby enemies. Every stack absorbed will be a stack of melting flame. So instead of using her weak base skill, we could use a battle skill on Wulfgard into Antal combo skill into Wulfgard combo skill, and now we can consume 3 heat infliction and get 3 flame stacks, all for the same SP cost as her weak skill version. So this heat infliction absorption is important for her stacks, but this talent also gives her heat resistance ignore for 20 seconds when you hit 4 melting flame. At 20 flat resistance ignore, this is most of the time at least an undiluted 1.2 times boost to all of her damage. But once you spam out enough enhanced skills, enough combos, you'll build up to her ultimate, Twilight. She will forcibly become the controlled operator, and for 15 seconds she will have enhanced basic attacks with some very high multipliers and different animations. She also drops from 5 basics in a string to only 4. And finally, her basic attack 3 in this enhanced form applies heat infliction. So now we can do basic 1, 2, 3, heat infliction, basic 4, and thanks to her talent, she will immediately consume her heat infliction for an instant melting flame stack. It's important to note that in her ultimate, her battle skill is also enhanced, but you'll still only want to use it at 4 melting flame for that additional attack. During Laevatain's ultimate, this skill now has a much higher base multiplier and range. And don't feel bad about how long it takes to use, since using her battle skill actually freezes her ultimate enhanced form duration, so you won't lose out on special basic attacks. But another important thing to note is that she cannot gain energy during her ultimate's duration. What this means is there can sometimes be a choice to make. Do you use a full melting flame fully enhanced skill during her ultimate with all the buffs into a big combo skill, or do you save the 4 stacks until after her ult ends and then consume them to immediately gain over 130 energy towards the next ultimate? In either scenario, you should be able to at least unleash one of these per ult. It's just about whether you want to do a second one or more or not. Anyways, that's her kit done with. Let's quickly check out potentials, aka duplicates of her, and then move on to builds. Her first potential buffs that gigantic additional attack multiplier on her 4 Melting Flame stack skill uses, and also now returns some SP, allowing for more battle skills throughout a fight. But she's amazing at pot 0, and this isn't too big of an increase, so yeah. Potential 2 is just some stats, and her potential 3 buffs her combustion from her 4 melting flame battle skill. It now lasts 50% longer and deals 1.5 times the original damage. Then potential 4 is the classic ult energy cost reduction, and in the original simulation this didn't change much. However, in an optimal rotation with a maxed ult gain efficiency kit like a Redeemer Seal, she can ult more frequently without ruining the rest of her team's rotation, leading to a decent damage increase. This is very variable, but basically it means if you play around the new ult cost, you'll get good gains. Finally, in her potential 5, we get a nice buff to her basic attacks during her ultimate, and we get help in AoE scenarios as she can now extend her ultimate by defeating enemies, up to a 7-second extension. But it's pretty irrelevant versus bosses, and she doesn't struggle with fodder enemies anyway. Anyways, here are my potential simulations for Laevatain considering a team of her, Wulfgard, Antau, and Ardelia versus a boss. Potential 4 again requires you to play around her ults perfectly to get a good increase, maybe it will be lower or higher in practice, and potential 5 can see a much bigger increase in AoE fights. Enough about her kit though, how do we build her? Well, when you can get to gold gear, you will want to pop the hot work set on her. Every time we launch our 4 melting flame skill, she will apply combustion, giving us a large 50% heat damage for a decent duration. Nothing else comes close, as they don't often have her main scaling attributes and their passives are also just weaker. Now, gold gear isn't immediately accessible, so until then focus on intellect and strength, her 2 scaling attributes, as well as any main stat that buffs either all of her kit or the best bits. The Mordvault Insulation and Aberre's Legacy sets are good choices for this. And the new Tide Surge Gear set now buffs arts damage when applying inflictions past and including the second stack, and so Laevatain gets it sometimes during the ultimate, but it's not effective outside of it for her. Anyways, hot work is much better in sims, so might as well stick to that. Furthermore, in combustion-oriented teams, hot work can get even better. Now onto weapons, and her weapon situation is a bit rough, but as a limited operator, she does have a battle pass alternative that you can get for free if you just invest some ori geometry. So her signature weapon, Forgeborn Scathe, at 994 passives offers a large base attack of 510, 156 intellect, then a whole load of attack percent, and then heat damage bonus, and then 120% basic attack damage bonus for 20 seconds after ulting, essentially mega buffing a large portion of her kit. Her potentials do not matter, but if you want peak performance, her weapon is well above other options that aren't the Battle Pass weapon. So if you aren't pulling her signature, I definitely recommend buying the freemium Battle Pass tier. It does not cost money and refunds any ori geometry you put into it, as well as giving other goodies. Hot Zero Umbral Torch beats anything else she can equip and by a decent margin. And this used to be so much weaker by the way, but they buffed it a lot for release from the Beta 2 version. So enjoy your close freemium alternative. But whether you pull the weapon or not, Laevatain is an absolute beast to start off your Endfield journey. She has insane AoE capabilities thanks to her large range in her ult, and the fact that her combo can hit a bunch of enemies easily, but also because her basics will consume heat infliction from all nearby enemies. She scales amazingly into AoE. And in single target, she is also a monster, one of the strongest alongside Yvonne. Her multipliers are just stacked, her current team is already very synergistic, buffing and enabling her kit to a very high degree. And she's Surtur. But speaking of teams, let's finish off by checking them out. Wulfgard is an amazing heat infliction generator through his battle skill and combo skill necessary for her melting flame stacking. He can also apply combustion in a large AoE with his ultimate, allowing for some extra combo skills from Laevatain. And he can also buffer damage with possibly the clanable weapon and even his potentials too rarely if you pulled dupes of him. Finally, he provides some damage, even if it's small compared to Laevatain's maximum power. Then we have Antau, who is just one of the best characters in Endfield due to his skill point efficiency, raw buffing, and utility, even if he got nerfed from Beta 2. This guy will apply heat susceptibility to enemies, a multiplicative boost to all heat damage. He will also give a heat amp buff to your operators, yet another multiplicative boost. Oh, and he can also run a weapon that gives another multiplicative buff or attack boost to your whole team, and he can run a set that gives even more damage. And he can apply inflictions for free using his combo skill, meaning more heat stacks for Laevatain. And he can heal a little bit. He is just him. His only problem is single target focus outside of his ultimate, but hard fights mostly have one big enemy you gotta destroy, and that's where he excels. You'll pair Laevatain with the free Wulfgard and Antau, how convenient, and then choose between 4 operators as her 4th slot. Ardelia is a really great first option here and completely free. Her combo skill applies corrosion every time, meaning guaranteed combos from Laevatain to stack up to her ultimate. She also provides a large amount of susceptibility on top of Antal's, and as a supportive arts unit wielder, she has access to more buffs in weapons and gear sets. With Antal and her, you also have 2 healing sources, so you'll stay pretty healthy. Her signature arts unit that is also free is also pretty damn OP in elemental teams like Lays, so enjoy that too. The core combo of this team is Antal's skill. Laevatain starts up her basic attack, Wulfgard's skill into Antal combo, into Wulfgard combo. Laevatain will then finish her basic attack sequence, consuming 3 heat infliction and hitting 3 stacks. The final strike procs Ardelia's combo, who can then apply corrosion, so you can then Laevatain combo. And voila, we have 4 melting flame stacks. You'll want to make sure Antal's focus is up on the big important enemy during the whole fight, so every 60 seconds, remember that. You'll also want to make sure that Ardelia's susceptibility is up at least during a large part of the fight, especially during Laevatain's burst windows. Remember, she needs the combo and then battle skill to consume the corrosion and apply her sus. But for other 4th slot synergies, we then have Gilberta. She isn't the main rate up for a short while, but she is the queen of AoE fights. Instead of offering corrosion straight up like Ardelia, she inflicts tons of nature, meaning you focus on proper combustion and corrosion triggers for tons of Laevatain combo skills rather than spamming out heat infliction. It's a different playstyle for her melting flame stacking. It can however also be worse than pure heat infliction in AoE, since 1 big combustion in AoE into a Lay combo versus 4 heat infliction from an AoE combo like Wulfgard that you can consume on final strikes is a drastic difference in melting flame. Gilberta's main power on this team though is her amazing AoE grouping on her skill, which is really useful when Laevatain is outside of her ultimate and something you'll really appreciate when fighting fodder in the overworld. To avoid messing up the combo sequence of them, you want Wulfgard on the left of Antal, who is on the left of Gilberta. So we'd get Gilberta battle skill into Wulfgard combo, Antal combo, Gilberta combo, Laevatain combo. Any other positioning and Antal might copy the wrong infliction type. Also, make sure to wait a bit in between Wulfgard's combo cast and Antal's to avoid him taking Gilberta's nature infliction. Finally, if you have Gilberta's signature, wait a bit in between her and Lay's combos. Those are 2 6-stars though. Now Ardelia is free, but that doesn't mean you always want to use her, and maybe we'll get multiple team modes. Luckily, Lay has 2 cheap and again free options in this 4th slot, so you can build a really good viable team with 3 free operators and her starting on day 1. Akakuri or Palika are my choices here. Akakuri offers skill points on combos and ultimates with some okay buffs from that ultimate. ESP is what really matters, as it can make your rotations much safer. It can also lead to more heat infliction from Wulfgard battle skills, for example. Do note that she got a nerf though since beta 2. She can also technically work as a Wulfgard replacement in some setups, trading his utility and heat inflictions here and there for more buffs from Akakuri's small attack boost, occasional link, and gear sets and weapons. Palika instead has a very easy and accessible combo skill that offers a rare multiplier for the team with electrification. She also just provides so much more damage than Akakuri, especially when considering that Antal is going to buff the heck out of her. Finally, she can even apply electric infliction with her skill for on-demand combustions from Wulfgard's combo skill. So this has the same problem as Gilberta in AoE. Don't waste heat infliction reacting in AoE. Anyways, that's all for Laevatain today. Let me know if you're pulling for her and what you think of her, and like and sub if this guide helped out. Thank you so much for watching, and have a guoba day.